We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for Top Gun Sales Bootcamp training. And this one's going to be a hot one. We're coming in hot here, folks. Coming in hot. Hope you're ready for it. Hope you're awake more than 3 minutes because it's going to be smoking hot. I have a feeling. Nora, what you got?
I had 61% yesterday.
You go, girl. Holy cow.
Right? Feels like Monday's the day.
Monday's the day. How do you make Tuesday like Monday? Like, how do you make Tuesday like Monday? You know, one thought that came to mind just now in the moment is I thought, sorry I didn't call you on Monday. Monday you might have picked up. I mean, you use humor, you use something that catches people off guard in sales. Like you're always trying to come up with, you know, it's like a man, a real man, like not a fake one. It's like a real man. Like I'm always trying to get my wife to laugh. Like I'm trying to get, I'm trying to go ahead and get my daughters to laugh. Actually, all the women around me. If I can get a woman laughing, any ideas, where I learned that?
Where?
Well, I mean, it's not that it's I don't know, is every boy like Lincoln? No, yes. And so he knows if he can get his mom to laugh, he knows. He's got the popsicle. If he can get her to laugh, he can do it. So I don't know. Does every little boy know that? I don't know. My guess is I never lost it. And so it's like, how do you in sales, how do you get somebody to laugh? How do you get somebody to joke? How do you get them to shake their head and go, Mark, you're something. Nora, you're something. Kenny, Luke, you're something. Like, how do you get them to, how do you get them to go ahead and laugh? Like, and how do you use humor? And how do you use whatever you use? Nice. Anything else, Nora, you got?
Um, was it on here that you wanted me to bring up the guy I talked to about doing it?
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I talked to a guy yesterday. They do construction, and then I was asking him questions and stuff. Um, and thought you guys might, I don't know, want to talk to him. They do new builds, remodels, some like chicken barns and stuff too. But he said that they're booked out full this year. They're starting to go into next spring. So so I don't know if they're gonna have, opportunities of work that they can't get to that they might, I don't know, just see somebody else.
Was it? Gotcha.
His name's
Well, I don't
Gary
know that we
Miller.
need
Oh,
that. Yeah. So I don't know. And so a lot of time, yeah. So the point, yeah, often what happens, this is what happens. Often what happens is, you go into your analytic and you're like, I'm gonna get the details, I'm gonna get the details, I'm gonna get the details. And you miss the big picture. Like, oh, the big like it's the banana and the monkey, you know. And so you get analytics and even expressives, they want the details, especially Amish. Like, give me the details, give me all the scoop on all the poop, like on everything. And he missed the big picture.
Oh, the big picture is there's a lot of guys out there like him.
Well, I don't know. There's at least one guy out there that's booked out. And what do we know about that situation? See, as soon as Nora said that, I'm like, boom. How do we get you guys as reflexes to go ahead and like, how do you get your mental reflexes to be sharp? See, if Kenny goes ahead and uses the process he's going through to potentially become a police officer, and he brings that into not everything, there are certain things certain things you don't want to bring in. I can tell you, don't bring that in. Yep, don't bring that. Yep, no, you can bring that in. Nope, that one you don't bring in. But there's certain if he could just see on how that's the greatest gift that he could bring is the system that he's going through. But it's hard, right? It's hard when the dopamine's all up there and it's hard to think straight. Urgh. So what we know is there's going to be a number of leads, right, that are not going to wait until spring.
Yep.
You know that. Like you can't wait until spring for everything. Spring next year. Like they're not going to wait a year. So what are they doing with all of those jobs? I don't know. Can you guys think of anybody who might be interested in those jobs?
Us.
I would think so. I think, yeah, so that one could like Nora making a call and then actually caring something you both could learn from, like with your team, like cheapers. Like, so she's aware, consistent, considerate, and competent. The 3 C's. How do we get you guys? And the second one being considerate of somebody other than just yourselves, and you're not that considerate of yourself either. You're just not. Like you guys are considerate of right now in the moment, like in the moment, right here, in the short term, in the moment, this moment, you're considerate of yourselves. But you're not that considerate. You're not that considerate of yourself and your future self because you can't see it. Kenny, what you got?
Um, so the approach for that contact, I guess, how do we, I guess it'd be the same, use the same approach that I used last week for, try to get their biggest challenge, or maybe we've had that or and try we see if we can bring value to them.
Yeah, I mean, Nora, did you do a 30-minute? Did you get anything on him, his biggest challenge?
Yeah, I have that.
Okay. So Nora's got all that. And so that would be good to do a strategy to align that. And then Nora makes an introduction, the right introduction. I've been thinking about this based on, so she would look at all of this and then she would go ahead and create a bridge between you guys. And so yeah. So it's you wanted to move, like I struggle with two things. What do I struggle with as a driver analytic? Inner
Living in the
conflict
moment.
between what? Two things. Fast and perfect. Perfect and fast. Fast and perfect, perfect and fast. Those are what I struggle with. Ooh, this is something that you guys have forgotten to bring up, and that's key account selling. Going after the big boys. GE, General Electric, over 300,000 employees. Jack Welch, he's a legend. Wrote a book. I mean, this guy's just like, and I had connections with him. He hand wrote me thank you notes. And I mean, the stories. So I could write a book. Someday I might. So I tell people that you don't have the opportunities with the big worldwide companies that you have without doing something right, a lot of things right. And you don't walk away with what I've walked away with without doing a lot of things wrong. So I've done a lot of things right, done a lot of things wrong. And so So the organization of this Top Gun boot camp is like, why is Andrew Ambricio not on today?
We don't care about them.
Okay, I'm impressed that you actually know, and you actually go ahead and are honest about it. So that I'm impressed with. Kenny, why, from your perspective, why aren't they both on today?
Lack of planning.
Okay. Okay. So I wish you all could have empathy for Andrew that I do. I wish you could feel what's going on inside him. Shoot, I wish he could feel what's going on inside him. So, in a way, Kenny, in a way, he's a lot like you and me. We're, rejected and, I don't know, want to prove something, like our own families, own dads. I don't know. It's not that they didn't love us. It's just, I don't know, something. We have something to prove. We have a chip on our shoulder. Andrews is more than that, though. And so you and I have a lot of options, Kenny. Other people often don't have so many options. And so hopefully you guys will do better at planning and get him on. What else you got, Kenny? You're on mute.
And then also on the sales part where what you guys mentioned earlier, if you have if you don't the humor part, the ability, I don't know if it's what
What
ability
Nancy
that
Birch
is.
said when we were out in that restaurant from the 1700s, and she said, Kenny's got a smirk, like he's up to something. And so, is that good or bad? It can be both. If he
Right.
doesn't learn to control that, that will harm him a lot. I mean, it could cost him his life. And if he gets in, that's not, boom, he could be dead because of it. So this is what I love about what he's doing. I'm like, because it's life and death, his and other people. One mistake, one miss, he's dead. One mistake, one miss, and a child's dead. I mean, this is what I was born for. Like, it's just, so I struggle between fast and perfect, perfect and fast. So this is my struggle. Kenny struggles between fun and, caring. And there's some touches of analytic once in a while too. And so, Nora, she doesn't struggle. She just wants everything perfect. Like that double analytic. Um, Luke, what you got?
So yesterday, cabinet shop called me. We had an install scheduled for one of their clients, and then he told me that the client wanted to cancel the install. They're not quite ready, and they may do it themselves. So his client canceled on us basically. I didn't ask him. I asked him a little what happened. He said, well, one, they're not quite ready yet, as far as the building's not ready. And then two, I don't know. I need to get more info. I'm going to get more info from the cabinet shop to see what happened. Like, I don't know what to, where it kind of ticked me off or something. It's
Right.
like,
So in sales, there's feelings. Like, and what do you do with the feelings? Feelings are feelings, anger, frustration, sadness, happiness, excitement, depression, all of it, they're feelings. And so understanding how to handle those and manage those where we control those rather than they control us. I don't think I've shared, but I don't think I've shared this. So my mom, she died like I think it was 8 years ago, and my wife and I were on a date. So every Friday we have a date night, and we were out, at dinner, and we're sitting there at the table, and my wife says, "Are you sad because your mom died?" And I said, "I'm not sure." And she said, "What do you mean you're not sure?" I said, "I'm not sure if I'm sad." She said, she laughs and she says, "Hi, what do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, I'm not sure if being sad is going to be good for you and me on her date. Like if it's going to be good for me to be sad, then I'll be sad. If it's not going to be good for me to be sad, then I won't be sad." And she just laughed and she just shook her head. She said, "You're so strange." That's what Kenny was talking about. So I got her giggling. I got her laughing. And then I made her laugh even more where like I'm like, well, I'm glad I'm not sad about my mom dying, because if I was sad about my mom dying, that'd be really cruel that you're laughing about me being sad about my mom dying. She laughs more. She's just like, "You're something, Mark." Like you just, and so the feelings like when Jack Eastman, who is 90, I don't know, 7% of our business, 93%, something like that, over 90% of our business, and we go out to eat. So he's our biggest client, and we go out to eat. And for lunch, he says, "Mark, I got good news and I got bad news." I said, "Okay." He says, "What do you want first?" I said, "Let's have the bad news first." And he said, "The president of the company, first, they said that we have to discontinue most everything we're doing with you." So all of a sudden, 80% of our business gone. Boom, wiped out as of today. And I said, "Wow." I said, "That's the bad news? That's good news. That's awesome, Jack." He looked at me, and I'm 20, what am I, 20, 29? You know, yeah, probably 29 years old, 30 maybe. And so, I mean, it could put us out of business. Like it could definitely put us out of business. And I'm like, "That's great, Jack. That's awesome." He looks at me, shakes his head. He's like, "How is that good?" I said, "Well, you guys are over 90% of our business, Jack." And that's not really owning a company. That's more like owning a job. And so I've known this for a while. This is just going to go ahead and, get me going a little faster than what I was. He just shook his head. "You're something, Mark." and and I said, "What's the good news?" He said, "That performance selling that you guys did?" I said, "Yeah." So I designed and architected a program where they paid for like an intermediate level, but they got an advanced level, and they went ahead and they didn't have to pay for it, but we still showed that we were billing them. And so, like, there was $70,000 that they didn't pay for, but there's no obligation to pay for, no expectation. It was just out there. And he said, "That performance selling that you did?" I said, "Yeah, the 70,000." He said, "Yeah." He said, "I was able to get the president of the company to go ahead and give half of that, 35,000." I'm like, "Whoa, that is good news." Like, wow, that's really good news. And that's the thing that actually built, that gave us, they had over $250,000 in sales. So I saw into the future, this is what's going to happen, and then I had planned for it. So when it happened, it didn't destroy me. It's like I was working and getting Action Vision ready to go to market and everything like that. So I go home that night and Rosanna's like, "How was your day?" I said, it was spectacular, honey. Just like that. Just, it was spectacular, honey. She looks at me and she's like, is that your spectacular? Or is that a normal person spectacular? I'm like, well, probably my spectacular. She's like, didn't you have that lunch with Jack Eastman? I said, I did. She said, how'd that go? I said, well, there was good news, honey, and bad news. Actually, there wasn't any bad news. There was good news and better news. She says, what's the good news? I said, well, the president of that company said they can no longer pretty much do any business with us. Most of the business is wiped out. There's still a piece of it that's a technology piece. That's another great story for another time. But yeah, it's gone. She's like, what? I'm like, yep, honey. That's gonna. She's like, you're just weird. I'm like, it'll be fine, honey. And so, this, how your mind is and the ability to control your mind, to bend your mind. Most people put all their energy into bending other people's minds. They don't bend their own mind. They don't understand that, so what they're training Kenny in law enforcement is reflexes. And it's just gotta, like, you got a gun, you got your trigger on the gun. It's designed to go ahead and, kill. That's what you do. You kill. You don't shoot to aim or to wound somebody. It's kill. Because if you don't kill, they kill you or kill somebody else. But you're in high intense situations and the adrenaline's flowing and everything's going. And, that could be a little child or that could be a mom. It could be an innocent person. And so your reflex, everything, it's insane the amount of pressure that's on that. And so how does he bring that into this? This went a little different direction than I had thought it would. And so this is the biggest mistake that I'm aware of that I made in business. Cost me millions and millions and millions of dollars. It cost me 20 years. So we had 3 small children at the time, and we had the combination principle. And so I had a big event out in Denver, a trade show. And I said, hey, honey, you want to do a vacation? And so we did a road trip. And almost died on that road trip. Almost, maybe all of us would have died. Anyways, another story. But we get out there and we're in the hotel, and they're young kids, and they're like, they were small. The 3 oldest were small, and they're doing, they're making noise. And I get a voicemail, and it's like, hey, this is Greg Farmore and from GE. I've been working on them for probably 3 years, 3 years. I mean, I had put so much into that. I mean, didn't bet the whole company on it, but bet a lot of the company on it. I mean, a big part. I mean, it was, man, did I put a lot into that. It was crazy. And so I didn't know who this guy. I knew it was, Greg Farmore from GE, but I didn't know, who. And I'm 20, probably 28, 29, 30, something in that is in the early years. So I've got, 3 kids, and they're in the hotel room, and I call them up, and, I say, and his secretary answers, and I said, is Mr. Farmore in? And she says, may I ask who's calling? And I said, this is Mark Boersma. She said, one moment, please. She put me through. And I said, Mr. Farmore, this is Mark Boersma. He says, it's not Farmore. It's Barmore. I don't know who you are, Mark, and I don't know what you're thinking. You will never, ever do business with GE again. Yeah, you don't have the reflexes. Your reflexes got to be so sharp.
What did you say then?
I said, sorry about that, Mr. Barmore. I apologize. I don't know who you are. And he's like, I'm the president of GE Capital. I'm like, oh. So Jack Welch, I knew him. Jeff Marsh, I knew him. I didn't realize there's 7 presidents between. And we didn't have the internet back then. You had to do all your manual research. I'm like, copy that, Mr. Barmore. I'm like, I don't know. Like, obviously you're not happy, and I appreciate that. Like, what did I do wrong? He says, I don't know what you're thinking. He says, you go over my head. You go to Jack Welch. You go ahead and send that stupid letter you do. You will never, ever, and I mean ever, go ahead and do business with GE. And I said, yeah, Mr. Barmore, I apologize. I'm a young guy, and I'm sorry, the kids in the background, and we're on vacation, but we're at an event, and I'm not that smart. I mean, I went ahead and I tried to research GE, and obviously I missed something. He says, what are you thinking, Mark? I don't know. I mean, I talked to I dropped a name. It was a big name. And I said, I talked to him, tried to get coaching, but GE, there's nobody like GE. GE is they're amazing. And he's like, okay. And I said, yeah, I didn't realize. I said, and so we talked, and all of a sudden I got him calmed down. And then that's when I made the biggest mistake of my life. My analytic kicked in. Man, did I pay for that. I got him flipped, turned the whole thing, like the whole thing. like it's like Nora will appreciate this. Like you shut the engine off and you start, it starts crashing. No problem. Engine's turned back on. Engine doesn't get turned back on. Like I'm crashing. Like, ah! And then what do? Engine turns on, pull out of it. Then what happens? I'm crashing into your traffic control tower. Cheapers. Mark, this is why you guys have the advantage I didn't have. And he says, Mark, I mean, in 10 minutes, flip that bad boy all the way around. And in 10 minutes, he says, Mark, I really appreciate you. I like you a lot. You're a good young man. I want to meet with you. Like you and I, let's sit down and have coffee. Biggest mistake I made. I was terrified. I was so terrified. Like, well, Mr. Barmore, I said, I don't want to make a mistake again. Is there anybody in GE? Is there anybody in GE that, that I could mentor me? Because I don't want to waste your time. It's really valuable. And he gave me a name of this woman. And she did coach me. But I never got a shot at it, never got up to bat. The mistake I made is I got fearful. I was terrified, just terrified. What I should have done is I should have said, Mr. Barmore, I respect your time. Love to meet. Absolutely, for sure. Can we do it in 2-3 months? I want to make sure I've got everything in place. And then is there somebody internally that can coach me to make sure I'm not making other stupid mistakes like this one here? All it would have taken is that. Turned the whole plane around, turned everything. There are so many stories about GE. You guys ask about those because Nora, the $250,000 her first year, it wouldn't be surprising if more than half of that comes from one sale. It wouldn't be surprising to me if that one sale comes as a direct result of the pickleball, booklet, which she's working Saturdays and Sundays. She's working weekends, late evenings to go ahead and put the cover on and to do other types of things. And so there's so many stories, and it's like in pickleball, it's like in the intermediate or the basic and the intermediate is, it's hard to take what you guys are learning here. It's hard to take what you guys are learning here and apply it to what you're doing daily. Yesterday I had physical therapy, and I've been, Kenny, remember that marriage enrichment seminar we went to where the wife said, women are women have a lot of choices in life. Men don't. They have two choices. They have, they can either go to prison or they can work. Those are the two choices men have. And then they said in that seminar, they said, what happens when the thing in a marriage, what happens when the thing isn't the thing? There's some, like, what do you do when the thing isn't the thing? It's something else and you don't know what that thing is. And I've been thinking about that before that too. That was a couple years ago. And I've been thinking about that. What about when the thing isn't the thing, it's something else? And I think in my sleep last night, I think I might have figured that out. And it comes from a sciatic injury or a sciatic issue. And I went to personal training, last evening, and he explained something to me. And then I went to sleep last night. And I woke up this morning, and all of a sudden, everything became clear. It was just like, you got to be kidding! Like, this isn't just pickleball. This isn't just physical. This is so much more. So we're out of time. Anybody else have anything else?
No.
All right, you guys are awesome. Man, wow, nice. All right, we'll see ya. Bye.